Dear children, good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the lesson The Little Girl. Already we have two sessions on this. Today it will be the last session. Dear children, you have already come across the character Kezia, her fear towards her father, how she responds to her father, and how her mother wanted her to behave, and her experience on Sundays, father sleeping on the sofa and mother reading the newspaper. One day grandmother asked her to prepare a pin cushion as a birthday gift for her father's birthday, and she prepared one by stuffing it with some important papers of her father. For that she was punished, and that day onwards she developed a kind of aversion towards her father, and she thought why God has created all these fathers for. So children, now we are at page number 35, paragraph number 9. All of you open your page 35 and concentrate on paragraph number 9. Yes, children, the McDonald lived next door. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders, 2 little girls hanging onto his coat pockets, ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him, and he tried to catch them, laughing all the time. Dear children, now Kezia is comparing her father with that of her neighbor's father, Mr. McDonald. Mr. McDonald has got 5 children, and he is very friendly with his children. That is what Kezia wanted to say. So looking through the fence, actually her house is separated by a fence, and looking through the fence gap she could see that McDonald playing with his children, especially the baby Mao sitting on the father's shoulder, and 2 other girls hanging on to his coat pocket, running around the flower beds, okay, and they were in laughters, okay, and one of the boys turning hose, this water pipe, on his father, and father is very friendly with them, and they were all playing the game tag, okay. So this is what the scenes that she wanted to highlight. Then she decided there were different sorts or kinds of fathers. Suddenly one day mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. Okay children, Kezia has made a comparison of her father with that of McDonald. Okay, one day her mother and grandmother were out of the house only because grandmother took her mother who was ill to the hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice the cook. I have already told you Alice is the character, and she is the cook. Alice the cook. All of you remember this character, Alice the cook. That was okay. That was all right in the daytime. In the daytime, no problem for the girl, but you can see McDonald playing with his 5 children, and Mao, the little girl, on his shoulder, and others all playing the game tag, okay, right? And Kezia looking through the gap of the fence. It's very clear. And she was not that comfortable during night time, and Alice was there to make her asleep, and she was put on the bed to do that. Suddenly she was afraid. What will I do if I have a nightmare? You know what nightmare is? A bad dream. She asked. I often have nightmares, and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. Okay, fearful for her. You just go to sleep, child, said Alice, pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake your poor father. But Alice is assuring the girl that such nightmare won't come, and what she has to do is to sleep and not to disturb her father. Okay, but the same old nightmare came. She was of the habit of witnessing the same nightmare. What's the nightmare for her? All of you be very careful about this, because it can be one of the short answer question. Okay, what is Kezia's nightmare? The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came near and near, smiling that dreadful, what do you mean by dreadful? Fearful, dreadful, fearful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma. She walked shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. Children, she had that usual nightmare. And what is it about? A butcher. I told you who is a butcher. A butcher is a person who cuts animals for selling the meat. Okay, and he would come with a knife and a rope, and coming near to her and smiling dreadfully, fearfully, creating fear in that girl. Suddenly she was crying for grandmother. Okay, but grandmother was not there. Who came near to her for her help? Her father came. What was there on his hand? A candle was there. Okay, what is the matter? He said. Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want granny, means grandmother. He blew out the candle, bent down and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her. It seemed she crept close to him, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. Dear children, after getting the nightmare, father came for her rescue. And what did the father do? Father lifted the small child in his arms and took her to his bedroom. And what was he doing before that? He was reading the newspaper which was found on the bed, and he tucked the girl with a bedspread, or we can say a blanket, and allowed her to sleep. And still the girl was sleeping halfway, but the butcher is still there in her mind, so she held her father's shirt tightly. Okay, not only that, she snuggled her head. What is the meaning of snuggled? Moved into a warm, comfortable position close to another person, that you may have done with your parents. Okay, right? Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Okay, when she was in the company of her father, dark did not matter. It was not giving her any fear. And her father asked her to rub her feet against his leg so that she could be warm. Okay, tired out, he slept before the tired out. And who was really tired? Father was tired after attending his office, okay, and reading the newspaper. He was really tired and wanted to sleep, and he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her, and by that time this little girl got a funny idea. What was that? Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness, and every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. And now she compares her father to that McDonald again, telling that McDonald has no work, he was free throughout the day, whereas her father was busy doing work in the office. And no more her father looked very gigantic or very big for her. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and said, actually she was feeling sorry for tearing all those beautiful and important papers, and for that she feels sorry now. What is the matter? Asked her father. Another dream? By then father was asking her whether she had another dream. Okay. Oh, said the little girl, my head is on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. And further she replied, oh father, I am comfortable now. That she could hear the sound of her father's heart, and she felt her father's heart is very big. And what do you mean by a big heart? Really, is it something very big? No. The heart shape is same for all. But here it means the father is very generous, not that fearful for her. Now she had a different idea about her father now. So dear children, that is the end of the lesson, and you have come to know the different understanding how she had in the beginning and what she had now. Okay, so let us make a recap of what we have learned today. Okay, so it is all about her comparison of her father with MacDonald, having 5 children and playing tag. Okay, now that particular day she was alone at home because her mother was sick and grandmother took her to hospital, and Alice was left with Alice the cook, but she had the old nightmare. By then her father came for her rescue, right? And father lifted her, and she could see her father's bedroom with the newspaper and the reading lamp still there, and she was made to sleep there. And by then she had a different idea about her father. Father was no more a gigantic figure, and she makes a comparison of her father once again, telling that Mr. MacDonald, having no work, was free with his children, whereas her father, after doing the office work, was very tired and nobody was there to look after him. Okay, and that is the end of the lesson, dear children. Go through the lesson line by line, because it is a prose lesson. Anytime, from anywhere, a question can be short, and you should be in a position to answer the question. Okay, and with this we conclude. Bye bye.